So it isn't one for one, but I really would suggest dropping the cap on vacation rentals and allowing that excess capacity going to the inns. They need to get up to the point where they can be more profitable, and it's the lowest impact way of housing people in town, but not to the exclusion of vacation rentals and single unit rentals where families and groups can be. I really look forward to the process. I would be very pained to hear of a CIC or something of that sort being formed. They don't work well in Mendocino. Yes, you can get some detail you couldn't get other ways, but you get a lot of junk in the data. And anybody can poke holes in any data, so this isn't personal. But Mary Weaver commented that the 99 update of mapping errors only applied to one place. Our single unit rental license was left off in 92. It was licensed prior to the 92 plan. It was identified in 99. It is now correctly on the right list. And there were others. So that difference between 46 and 53, I would argue, is real, and it can be documented. So have fun with your numbers.
Thank you, Wendy. Any other person out there that wants to speak on this issue? Okay, Mary, will you just make it extremely brief, please?
The only point I had is that I didn't think we were supposed to be talking about Table 1. I thought at the beginning we were only told to talk about Table 2 and Table 3 that have to do with vacation rental houses. And none of us before me spoke about hotels and inn rooms. So when Jed said that we all agreed to give those houses, allocate those units to hotels, I don't know what he was talking about, because we didn't talk about hotels. And if we're allowed to talk about Table 1, it's to keep the units at what they are. And again, as a realtor, I can tell you that each one of those rooms is worth $200,000. So if you give somebody 5 illegal rooms, you're handing them $1 million. That's not fair to other people. But I didn't know we were going to talk about Table 1. So.
Thank you, Mary. No other members of the public would like to speak? Okay, we don't want to really get into the second go-around here, but briefly.
Barbara Reid, I also agree that if you gave the people on the waiting list for vacation home rentals, get them on board with a vacation home and then freeze it and then allocate those rooms to, if there's rooms left, give them to the inns where you really will see the bed tax.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll bring it back to the board. Did you want to make some closing comments? Jessica or Allison, or?
I don't know that it's closed until you guys stop talking, but I will. I'll just try to pull together a couple of the themes, and then you're welcome to your discussion. One thing I want to acknowledge is in the work of the planning team, and I'm sure you found this in some of the other projects, we've kind of come from a clean slate mentality, and sometimes that's good because it means we're coming in without a whole lot of preconceived notions. Sometimes it's bad because there is some history that people do want to hold on to, and we may not be aware of it. So I want to acknowledge that up front, that our approach tends to be from a clean slate perspective. And so some of the comments about past policies or the idea that vacation home rentals, there was some move to phase that out. That's not something we've looked at. I would also just remind you that we had a pretty narrow focus, and that was basically to look at the data in the tables, to do what we could to update it, bring it back to you with the idea that at that point you'd set out what process you wanted us to follow. We were trying to make it bite-sized chunks. I don't know if that works as a strategy, but that's where we are. You've heard a number of suggestions on what the next steps might be and how we might get there. One thing you might consider is, from the board's standpoint, what is most useful to you? Is it most useful that as staff does work, they bring it back to the board as a whole? We've been checking in with Supervisor Colfax on a number of the things along the way so that he was aware of where we were. But this might be something that, as a board, you might want to look at having it referred to one of your standing committees, or you might want an ad hoc committee, because certainly depending on what direction you give us, we are going to need to be checking in fairly frequently as to what the steps are down the road. So I want to kind of put that out there. As far as community process, again, that's something that you would be providing us direction on, and the only thing I'll say about community groups or councils is that there is a care and feeding that goes along with that and whatever work. And so certainly we've tried to be very open in the processes we've done with general plan and Ukiah Valley area plan, but not utilize the concept of citizen groups at this point in time. So there's some choices there, and I just wanted to kind of pull that around. So one of the follow-ups that I might add, a number 15, would be around if there's a desire to look at phase out or any other those kinds of policies, that would be direction that you could give as well.
That would be my question. The agenda says we're supposed to provide you direction and decisions to staff on the next steps. And that's one of the specific directions you want, or what are the specific directions you're looking for here today?
Well, I would definitely focus on the plan-related stuff on that list. As far as where you want us to go, that one-page list. And it would be useful also to know when you